The former RB Leipzig striker also has an impressive scoring record, with 9 goals in 1,443 minutes. Victor and Fadi's place in Flick's plans. In a related context, Pau Victor has emerged as an alternative option in the attack and currently enjoys greater trust than Ansu Fati. This was evident in the recent match against Celta Vigo, where Victor came on in the final minutes in search of a winning goal, while Fati remained on the bench. 75 million delay the dream. Xavi Simons wants to return to Barcelona. Spanish newspaper Sport revealed that Dutch star Xavi Simons has placed a return to Barcelona at the top of his priorities for the summer transfer window. But financial obstacles are currently hindering the completion of the deal. According to the paper, Simons has decided to leave German club Leipzig this summer after a season that fell short of his expectations. He is looking for a new challenge outside the Bundesliga and prefers a return to the Catalan club, where he was raised in the La Masia academy. Despite the player's strong desire, Leipzig has no intention of letting him go easily and values him at 75 million euros, a figure that Barcelona's management cannot currently afford due to the club's ongoing financial crisis. Barcelona had attempted to bring Simons back last summer on loan, but Paris Saint-Germain, who still owned his contract at the time, rejected the move and chose to sell him permanently to Leipzig. Sport also reported that Xavi Simons recently contacted Barcelona officials and expressed his wish to return to Camp Nou someday. He maintains good relations with several first-team players and makes a point to visit the Catalan city whenever possible. Real Madrid's comment on Barcelona's remontada. Following Real Madrid's clash with Athletic Bilbao, the players' conversations in the dressing room weren't limited to the match itself. The talk quickly turned to a widely circulated piece of news on social media. Barcelona pull off a dramatic victory against Celta Vigo in a thrilling match that ended 4-3. As part of matchday 32 in La Liga. Some players read the news in silence. Others simply followed it on their phones while their faces showed signs of contemplation. No envy, no mockery, no comparison. The reactions were balanced, as is customary in this prestigious club. A club that understands that glory isn't defined by a single match, and that a team's value is not measured by momentary reactions. One player approached Ancelotti holding his phone and said calmly, "They pulled off an incredible remontada, and everyone's talking about it." The veteran coach looked up with a quiet smile, glanced at the group, then said in his composed voice, "This is the beauty of football. To live a moment that contains everything: excitement, determination, and challenge." What happened today with Barcelona is a lesson in believing until the very last second. This doesn't take anything away from us. Rather, we should celebrate the spirit of competition in La Liga. One player sat in the corner of the room, quietly tying his boots, then said, "Some might wonder, why couldn't we turn it around in the Champions League last week? But I think every match has its own conditions, and every team its own way of fighting. What we're going through is different. Not better, not worse, just different." Another nodded and added, "Talking about our failure to make a comeback shouldn't distract us from what we've achieved. We're not a team of the moment. We're a team for the whole season. Our foundation isn't built on reactions, but on continuity, on a long-term project." Ancelotti, who understands the weight of pressure and expectations, spoke with words that carried the depth of experience. Sometimes matches are decided in the final moments, and sometimes they're not. Sometimes the ball rewards you, and sometimes it lets you down. But the important thing is not to break. The important thing is to know who you are, where you are, and what you're striving for. Our respect for our rivals doesn't mean we belittle ourselves. It's an acknowledgement that La Liga remains competitive, and that every moment in it carries lessons. Then came a turning point in the conversation when one player pointed out what some media outlets had started to suggest: that Barcelona are now the strongest contenders to win all remaining titles, especially the Champions League and La Liga, and that they have the best generation of young players in the world. A moment of silence followed, as if it were an invitation to reflect, not to respond. Then one player said calmly, "Predictions don't win trophies, but they do give an indication of a team's current form and strength. If Barcelona are having an exceptional season, then that deserves respect. And if they have a promising young generation, that's a win for Spanish football overall." But predictions, no matter how big, mean nothing compared to what actually happens on the pitch. Another player added, "We know the value of the players we face. We know the game is changing and new generations have massive ambitions. But we also have the personality of a team that doesn't fear decisive moments, a team that knows how to handle pressure. We don't belittle anyone, but we also don't forget who we are." Ancelotti concluded the discussion with a tone that exuded confidence and composure. "We have to keep working calmly. We don't get caught up in the analysis, and we don't indulge in responding. Every team has its own qualities and every project has its phases. We respect what others are doing, and we focus on our path. A title isn't won in one night, nor in one round. Patience, balance, and faith in what we do. That is our way." In the end, there was no denial, and no attempt to downplay what their traditional rivals had achieved. It was a session filled with respect for the game, for its ever-changing nature, and for the noble competition that Spanish clubs are living through in a season full of stories. Real Madrid didn't respond with words. They chose to reply as they always have, on the green grass, in the silence of the greats, where only the spirit speaks once the whistle blows. The future of Szczęsny. An official decision from Barcelona. Barcelona has officially decided on the future of their Polish goalkeeper, Wojciech Szczęsny. Szczęsny had retired from football in August after terminating his contract with former club Juventus. However, he returned from retirement in October, following Barcelona's decision to sign him until the end of the current season, due to the long-term injury suffered by German keeper Marc-Andre ter Stegen. Since joining Barcelona, Szczęsny has delivered strong performances, keeping 12 clean sheets in 24 matches, and losing only one game with the Catalan side. In light of this, Barcelona has decided to renew Szczęsny's contract for another season, according to Portuguese sporting director Deco. Deco said, "Szczęsny is a very experienced goalkeeper. We had the chance to bring him in through one of those coincidences that happen in football." He added to Marca, "He was a keeper we knew could offer a lot to the team, and he certainly did. That's thanks to the daily efforts of both the coaches and the players." He concluded, "We're very happy with Szczęsny and the role he plays in our journey. He'll definitely stay with us next season." Szczęsny's new contract is expected to run until the end of the 2025 to 2026 season, though the club may include an option to extend for an additional year.